Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair. My name is Marcus Gray-Hauk. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I serve as the Director of Music Ministries for this congregation. It's good to be with you all in person and virtually. We have two requests for you if you are here in the space. One is that you silence your phone, put it in worship mode, and also take it off the Wi-Fi. So put it in airplane mode or switch it off, because otherwise the bandwidth might interfere with our streaming. And we do have a lot of people watching this service online. The other thing is that our reopening implementation team has asked that we stay masked as a congregation and not sing but hum the hymns while our hymn leaders sing. And we're going to begin today with Gather the Spirit, a song by Jim Scott, who's a singer-songwriter from Massachusetts. He was a guest here at this congregation a couple years ago when we did the Missa Gaia for our Easter morning service, and it was quite rousing. So this is Gather the Spirit.
Scott on drums, and Jenny Crooks is our hymn leader.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna
Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your age, ability, history, identity, gender, sexual orientation, you are welcome to bring your full self here. My name is Myrna Brome. My pronouns are she, her.
I am Joshua Brome. My pronouns are he, him, his.
Grounded in faith, we come together to nurture the soul, inspire hope, and bring into being a more just and loving world. Today's service invites us to choose every moment of every day to bless the world. It also includes a time to covenant with the Board of Trustees and a new member welcome ceremony, 2 ways that we honor the blessings of being a congregation.
Our COVID protocols include social distancing and that we be masked as possible, vaxxed. We welcome all and realize that there is no vaccine available for children under 12. So we have established a space in our sanctuary for families with young children.
And we have restricted congregational singing, asking instead that we hum along while our hymn leaders sing. Please see your This Week at UUCM bulletin for other important information. Ours is a covenantal community. This means that while we do not share common beliefs, we share a common covenant, a commitment to come together in service of the beloved community. And today, we have a special privilege of affirming a covenant with our Board of Trustees.
Trustees, please come forward. This morning, our board members are going to affirm their commitment to uphold the covenant, their promise to one another and to our congregation. And as they do, they ask you, dear congregation, to hold them accountable to this covenant.
Good morning. I'm Michael Hetrick. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm your board president, and this is our promise to one another and to the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair, our commitment to uphold our values as we serve. Will the members sharing please come forward? Sarah Scalette, John Carlo Ponticello, and David Jones. And will the other members present please stand?
Come up here, Sarah. And David, go to the center mic. Sarah?
Sorry, just the board members present. Sorry.
So you guys are both here.
Sorry.
We, the Board of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation at Montclair, covenant to actively and reflectively hold ourselves accountable to this covenant. In a service to a culture of equity and inclusion, we will counter systemic oppression in all we do for UUCM. We will work to overcome historic and institutional white privilege and other forms of structural inequities. With awareness of the power and privilege that our own intersecting identities provide, we will ensure that no voice is empowered by inaction or bad action to silence the voices of others.
In service to a culture of courage and spiritual growth, we will create spaces for individuals to be vulnerable so everyone is able to show up as their authentic self. We will not avoid challenging conversations because of our discomfort. And we will draw upon the expertise and brilliance of congregational members to help strengthen our understanding and appreciation of others across difference.
In service to a culture of dedication, commitment, and integrity, we will acknowledge complexity while diligently working towards decisive action. We will seek transparency, balancing it with any expressed need or necessary need for confidentiality. We will maintain our faithful commitment to the UUCM and the task of the board leadership which we have embraced, while also articulating boundaries. that ensure our health and the health of other communities of accountability.
Congregation, will you hold us accountable to this covenant? If you will, we ask you to affirm by saying yes. Yes. Thank you for your faith in us. Together we will sustain and serve this congregation, ensuring that we achieve our mission and that we stretch toward our vision.
So much gratitude and love to our Board of Trustees. Doing this work diligently in this particular time in history has its own stresses and challenges, and I have seen them excel and excel again, and it is such a gift to have them as servant leaders of our congregation. Let's light our chalice as our chalice lighting affirmation is shared. Let us open our senses to take in the beauty. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another.
Well, good morning. I am Reverend Scott Samler Michael. He, him, and his. I am joined by liturgists Myrna Brome, as well as Reverend Anya, Marcus Gray Hauk, and Glenn Rambo to tell today's time for all ages, which is known as the Messiah is among you. There was once a monastery that had fallen on hard times. As the years passed, there were fewer and fewer novices, and some of the younger monks began leaving in dissatisfaction. Few people from the surrounding villages would even visit them anymore. And eventually, only a handful of elderly monks remained, and they argued amongst themselves, each blaming the monastery's decline on the faults and the failings of the others. And their leader, the abbot, did not know what to do. Now, an old friend of the abbot's was a rabbi, and the rabbi and the abbot would often sit together, drinking tea and remembering the good old days back when they were both students. And on one of his visits to the rabbi, the abbot finally brought up the problems at the monastery. And this was not the first time the rabbi had heard about the situation, of course, but this time the abbot specifically asked for advice, particularly something that he could share with the other monks. The rabbi was quiet for some time, sipping his tea as he thought. And as the silence stretched on, the abbot couldn't contain himself.
Don't you have some advice that might save my monastery?
Your monks will not listen to my advice, for perhaps they would benefit from an observation.
Yes. Have you noticed something about the monastery that we ourselves have not?
I think so. And it is this: the Messiah is among us. The Messiah is among you.
Well, the abbot was initially at a loss for words, something that did not happen quite often. But when the abbot regained composure, the abbot asked as respectfully as he could,
The Messiah? The Messiah is among us? But who is it? Is it me?
I can't say, but I know that it is true beyond all doubt. The Messiah is among you. Share this with your monks, and in time the truth will be revealed.
Well, the abbot could not wait to get back to the monastery. Taking one last gulp of tea, he thanked his friend, the rabbi, profusely, jumped up out of the chair, grabbed his coat, and without even taking the time to put it on, ran out of the cottage and across the meadow. Arriving breathlessly back at the monastery, he called all the brothers together and said,
I have incredible news. I have just been told without any room for doubt or question the following. The Messiah is among you.
Well, I know it's not you.
And raising his hands to quiet them, the abbot explained what the rabbi had told him and then instructed them to be about their work while they reflected on this most amazing news. And as the monks did their chores, each monk wondered to himself.
Well, it could not be Brother Samuel. Could it? He always forgets when it's his turn to wash the dishes. But then he does bring such lovely flowers to each meal.
Surely it's not Brother Albert. He's always muttering to himself. And when he's not muttering, it's because he's being rude. But then, he's always the first there to look after us when we get sick.
That's true. What about Brother Leo? I mean, he's always dirty and he smells bad, really bad. But then the reason he smells bad is because he works so hard in the yard, brings us these delicious vegetables.
Well, the monks continue to wrestle to figure this out. Who amongst them just might be the Messiah, but none of them could figure out just who. Still, they realized that they could sometimes see the Messiah in one another's faces. They could sometimes hear the Messiah in one another's voices. And they began to treat one another more kindly and more fairly, just in case. So as time passed, the villagers noticed that something seemed different about this old monastery, and they started visiting more frequently. And more of the young men who came to inquire about training as novices decided to stay. And the elderly monks and their abbot found themselves at peace, content to enjoy their golden years doing what they loved, while all about them, the monastery thrived.
And this ends our time for all ages. I think the monks especially could use some applause. Called to find depth in our days and discover reverence in this hour, we seek a gentle meditation, a focused reflection, an ardent prayer, each as we are called, and yet all together. We enter into this space by hearing the lamentations, the requests, and the remembrances of our community. Let us hear one another to heal one another. Deborah Ann Tripoldi has a remembrance for Anthony DeMaio. This candle is lit for remembrance for her cousin, Anthony DeMilo, who died on May 19th at the age of 32. We hold the Tripoldi and the DeMaio family in our hearts and our prayers. And Deborah Ann Tripoldi also lights a candle of remembrance for Tom McGurdy, president of the Nutley Irish American Association. And Tom, thanks for your friendship and your support. Ginny Crooks lights this candle of concern for her best friend, Cricket's 80-year-old mom, who is recovering from serious surgery in Alabama, where health resources are stretched thinner than usual because of COVID. We light this for Cricket's 80-year-old mom and hold her and their family in our thoughts and prayers. And we light this candle for all who ache today, for all who lack health and wealth, love and solace, for those feeling the pain of loss and grief. This candle shines to bring light to all who lament. And we light this candle, which shines for the grace that finds us still, for the moments when peace settles into our souls, when we laugh and smile, when we know we are not alone. And we light this final candle for the joys and the sorrows deeply felt, but those that have not been spoken aloud. May we hold this silence as this silence holds us. May our listening inspire acts of love. God of our understanding, guide us into a space of prayer, a place for speaking our affirmations, confronting our limitations, and holding this blessed imperfect life with our tender souls and hands. For our prayer, let these words by the Reverend Rebecca Parker be our guide. She petitions us to choose to bless the world. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger. Any of these can draw down the prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor. You must answer this question: what will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. Together, that is another possibility waiting. And remember, as the wise rabbi taught, the Messiah is among you. May it be so, and amen.
There's honey in the rock, all God's children. Honey in the rock, honey in the rock. There's honey in the
There's honey in the rock when we share our blessings. 80% of what you offer will care for our congregation, and 20% will support our August and September recipient Isaiah House, located in East Orange. Isaiah House reduces homelessness and hunger. Shelter programs serve youth, disabled individuals, and those living with AIDS and more. Over 60% of the families served now have housing. You can text 73256 to give, mail us a check with Isaiah House in the memo, or simply place your gift in the offering basket.
All of your gifts are worthy, and they are all received with love. So these are the new members of our congregation, some that were welcomed before during our virtual services, and others who are going to be welcomed just now for the first time. As we call your names, we will welcome you to sign your name in our membership book, just your name, and our membership team members will be here to help out. They will provide each person with a different pen to fit into our guidelines. And please add just your name. We'll add the rest later. So the new members come forward and sign, and we welcome them. Juliana and Paul Lombardo, come on forward. And then Irene Cox, welcome. And then Kira Pipkins, welcome. And then Mary Dewis, welcome. And then Valerie Porter, welcome. Is there anyone else here among us who is ready to become a member? This is as close as we get to an altar call. Wayne Eastman, come on forward. And as you come up here on the chancel, our membership team is going to help you find a socially distanced space to be, but still where you can face our congregation.
So, beloveds, and that's all of you, it is a radical act in our rapidly transforming world to commit to a mission and a covenant with a congregation. And it is an honor this morning to bear witness to your choice. So I want all of those folks who have come forward today as new members to take a moment now, and I want you to recall the first time that you felt that this place could be your congregational home. See if you can remember that time, that the first time you thought this could be your congregational home. And I want you to recall, how were you first welcomed? And by whom? What moved you? Was there a realization of familiarity? Was there insight or inspiration, joy, or even tears? Consider those memories. Hold them and share them with others. And we ask you now to commit to ensure that the next 10, the next 100, yea, the next 1,000 who come through those doors will have an experience similar to the ones you have had. Have a similarly generous welcome that might inspire them to stand here one day. So if you are willing to make a commitment to that, we ask you to say, I will, if you're so moved. And we are grateful. So now it's time that we honor our commitment to this congregation and to one another by sharing the words of our Covenantal Litany. And most of you should have received this on the way in. It's on a little card.
Does anyone in the congregation need a copy of that litany
If so,
and didn't
raise your
receive
hand.
one?
Our chief hospitality engineer
raise your
will bring
hand
it to
and
you.
we'll see if the greeters can get you a copy, the membership team.
Good, somebody's paying attention. All right. Look at this. Good stuff. All right, I'm going to begin. You, new members, have chosen to call this congregation home. Grounded in faith, we come together to nurture the soul, inspire hope, and bring into being a more just and loving world. So may it be. And amen. And now, everybody, please join us now in celebrating these new members. We welcome you all to rise in body or spirit, praising and honoring the covenant, holding us as a people of faith in one another in what we understand as ultimate. And join us now celebrating with your appreciation.
And as our new members take their seats, they will be given gifts of appreciation with some beautiful roses. What a blessing, right? The gift of that peace and all of the music that has held us throughout this service. What a blessing. And what a blessing to have Myrna and Joshua here together as our liturgist team. And what a blessing to be joined by the new members today and to celebrate them. And what a blessing to be held by our Board of Trustees in a covenant like that. What a blessing. I say that a lot, don't I? What a blessing. I feel it too. I feel it. I know what I mean, but what is it that I mean, really? How do I articulate that? What is a blessing? What is a blessing? It's not trite or trivial. It's not a flip of the hand by a holy person, done without intention. Not in my book of blessings, at least. It's not something that just transforms the secular to the sacred like a magic trick. Speaking of, have you heard this one? I was given a bag of peanuts, which was blessed by the Pope. I gave them away. I hate religious nuts. And a blessing is not just the word that we say when a friend gets saddled with dust or has an allergy attack. Reverend Scott, can you help me out with this one? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Itch.
It's who?
Bless you. Are we feeling blessed by the terrible humor so far today? A blessing is much more than either of those examples. Elementally, it's a choice. It's a choice that we make over and over again in our lives, a choice that was so beautifully captured in the Hebrew Scriptures. In Deuteronomy 30:19, one of my favorite passages, here the Holy is speaking through Moses. Moses, the liberator, the traveler, the one who might just lead the people to the promised land. Here's the passage. I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. So choose life so that you and your descendants may live. Remember, this is not being shared by anti-abortion advocates. Choose life. It's not about that, though this passage is often used in that way. It's being shared with a people bent on reaching the promised land, a place where they will find the prosperity and the peace that they have long been lacking. And the Holy says through the liberator that the Holy is set before us life and death, blessings and curses, so choose life. I'm not sure about you, but it seems to me like the words life and death here are being used metaphorically. I don't really think I chose life, that I chose to be born. I'm pretty sure it just happened, but who knows, maybe I'll find out differently someday. And I'm fairly certain that my death will come someday, sometime, not that I will choose it, but that it will be my time. So choosing life here, paired as it is with the word blessings, is an invitation I hear to choose blessings, to choose to affirm life, and I think more so to choose to bless others, and to bless, as Rebecca Parker reminded us during our prayer, to choose to bless the world. And it's opposed to choosing death, which is paired with curses. To choose death is to choose curses, and I think more so it's to choose to curse others and to curse the world. Well, it's like a living death. So that spins us right around. What is a blessing and how do I do it? How do I make it? How do I bring it to life? The ancient Hebrew word for bless is barak, which means to kneel. In Genesis 24, we meet some camels that are brought to kneel beside a well. And the camels in ancient Hebrew are baraking, not barking. They're baraking. They're kneeling. But who knows, they might have been barking as well. Camels bark, right? Yeah. So when we say, God bless you, we are saying, may God, may the holy kneel to you. Powerful that way, isn't it? And when we say, I bless you, we are saying, I kneel to you. Powerful that way, isn't it? Just a few days back, I had the honor of participating in a mock fellowship panel for a candidate called to be a Unitarian Universalist minister. Before she receives her fellowship with the Unitarian Universalist Association, before she can call herself a Unitarian Universalist minister, she has to go through an interview process that, well, it would make a camel kneel, if not keel over in fear. We do these mock panels for would-be ministers because it helps them to prepare and get through some of their jitters. We finished all the business, the questions, the answers, the feedback, and we were getting ready to sign off. But something felt undone. We'd talked about Unitarian Universalist history, how to manage a congregation, but we'd also talked about the candidate's journey through trauma, a journey that they had overcome by fashioning their calling. I asked if we might bless the candidate. The blessing was rather simple. We see you. We see your strength and your capacity, the way you have shaped your trauma into a container for your ministry. And a few more words. But tears began to flow, and what had felt like business, like this thing that had to be done, flowed into something that was a gift, that was itself a blessing. Sometimes the secular can be transformed into the sacred, or perhaps the sacred was always there. It just needed to be called out, affirmed, and proclaimed. Which brings me to another way to research the original Hebrew meaning of blessing. The word barak is closely related to the word brahe, which means pool. The pool from which a spring of water flows. And metaphorically, the pool from which all life flows. Because remember, these were a desert people, and life needed that pool. So barak, to bless, is to let the waters of life flow, to let them flow from the source of life to those who need their sustenance, those that need to be seen, to be held, which is all of us, right? Which is all of us. And especially now when the days seem to flow from a very different kind of pool, a cesspool perhaps, when we wake daily to the reality that we are not where we thought we would be by now, when we struggle with the low-grade anxiety that asks, will we ever emerge from this pandemic? Now especially, we need to remove our tap from missed expectations and dip it instead into the pool from which all life flows. Choose blessings rather than curses. The pool of blessings, the pool of seeing beauty and seeing one another for the gifts that each of us brings, that is a mighty blessing. We see you, even amidst this mess and malarkey of our pandemic days. We see you, a simple and a necessary blessing, one that I missed giving this past Sunday. I shared a list of gratitudes at the close of our 10 a.m. water communion service, and I missed thanking the greeters. This translates as, I don't see you. Far too often we make our way through the trials of life unseen. We effect change, we make beauty, we complete to-do lists, we manage chores, we grow, we develop, we excel, we survive oppression, we survive depression, we survive, we make our way unseen. To offer the brahe, the pool from which all life flows, to offer the barak, the blessing, I see you, is the simplest way to heal a heck of a lot of human pain. But ground it in real seeing. See the whole person before you and bless them with the truth that they are not invisible. Greeters, we see you. We see how you care for us again and again, and we are grateful. The greeters are a blessing too, right? The Jewish scholar Dr. Nathan Lopez Cardozo notes, how wise were the sages of Israel when they instituted the custom of making a blessing on almost anything, whether it was eating or drinking or observing natural phenomenon or smelling extravagant aromas. Really, there is a Hebrew prayer written and said for all of these and much, much more. They, the sages of Israel, by calling forth blessings for each, depicted all of the activities as nothing less than totally miraculous. We kneel before them. Many of the Jewish prayers start with the words, Baruch atah Adonai, blessed are you, our Lord. While welcoming someone into your home, someone who's standing at your door, you say, Baruch haba, blessed is the one who comes. The same word, Baruch, the same blessing for God and the male person, the same blessing for the Holy One and the Jehovah's Witness. The same, it may be that the Messiah is at your door. It may be. I was waiting a few days back at the parking lot next door, right over here, and I got to witness a miracle. The young man who was at the gate managing the parking lot entrance was at first talking with an older gentleman who had his mask down around his chin, and the older gentleman was hard of hearing, so he was right in the parking lot attendant's face, and he was very unhappy that he had to pay $5 because he was only going to be there for an hour. And the parking attendant was calm, explaining what was possible. Before this was sorted, a construction truck pulled up. And in this same parking lot, this construction truck worker said, how much do I have to pay? And he was told that he would have to pay $10 because he had a very big vehicle and it would take up 2 spaces. And the driver scoffed at this, and he pulled out his cell phone and angrily told his boss about the idiot attendant and the ridiculous rules. And the attendant remained calm, explaining what was possible. When all of this was sorted, I gave the attendant some space, then approached saying, "Yikes." He nodded. I then told him what I was seeing. "You're a pastor. You know that, right? One of the hardest things to do in life," I said to him, "one of the things that pastors, we are supposedly trained to do, is to bear witness when people are struggling, to respond, to refrain from reacting, and to then share what is possible. You're a pastor," I told him. I didn't start it with Baruch atah, but I thought that young man deserved some divine attention. So that was my attempt at a blessing. We've been given life and death, blessings and curses. Even now, choose life. Choose that pool from which all life flows. Choose it in a manner that makes sense to you, speaking blessings quietly to the earth as you walk, or to the wind as it touches your face. Blessing the meal that your family is finally able to have together, or that you will have solo sustenance from. Blessing the person without a home that you pass on the street by seeing them and saying hello, which is to say you exist. Choose to bless the world in the way that makes sense to you so that you might live. Choose to kneel before the little miracles and say with abandon, I see you, so that you and your descendants may live. Amen. May it be so. And will you reflect with me? What is one small but mighty way you can choose to bless the world? One small but mighty way that makes sense to you to bless the world. Our closing hymn, Come Thou Font of Every Blessing.
Come thou fount of every blessing, tune our hearts to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. While the home of life's perfection fills our hearts with joy and love, teach us ever to be faithful. May we still thy goodness prove. Come thou fount of every vision, lift our eyes to what may come. See the lion and the young lamb bound together in thy home. Hear the cries of mournful silence, feel the love glow like the sun. When we all serve one another, and our Advent is begun. Come thou fount of inspiration, turn our lives to higher ways. Lift our gloom and desperation, show the promise of this day. Help us find ourselves in you, help our hearts tell of our love. With thy name, O fount of justice, earth be fair as heaven above.
Will you say with me for our shared benediction the simple words, what a blessing. Let's share these together. What a blessing. May it be so, and amen.
Our worship has ended, let our service begin. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love.
special thanks to all of our help in the booth. There's 4 today. If you could stand up or wave your hands. Debbie Tripoli, Erica Scott, Connor Laughlin, and Domingo Martinez.
And it's a beautiful day today, so we would be honored to greet you, the folks who have been here sharing worship on the front lawn. Please feel welcome to come on out and greet us. We'll find you there.